Welcome everyone to Boxing Scene's Top Stories, only on ProBox TV, your boxing channel. I am George DMITRY, and we'd like to remind you to download the ProBox TV app, where apps are available to get the full ProBox TV experience, which includes Wednesday night fights, big fight preview, big fight recap, or big fight breakdown, I should say, big fight recap, and so much more, including the great thoughts and insights from our world champions. We have Chris Algieri, and we have Paulie Malignaggi joining us here on Top Stories. Well, today's ARTUR Beterbiev DMITRY Bivol news conference took place in London ahead of their October 12th fight for the undisputed light heavyweight championship of the world that will take place in Saudi Arabia on October 12th. Now, both of them Russian fighters, not known for being too wordy or having too much to say in the press conference. It's in the ring where they are famous and known and will put on quite a show. So, Chris, let me ask you, what do you think about this fight early on here between Beterbiev and Bivol? These are two contrasting styles here, and as they often say in sports, styles make great fights.
See my face? I'm trying to hide my smile. I am wildly excited for this fight. I think this is a fight that has great crossover appeal, even though, as you said, neither of these fighters are very wordy. They're not going to sell the fight in terms of a marketing standpoint, talking from the rafters, getting to argue. That's not how these guys are. These guys are all business. They are in the ring. They're good. They're going out there to be consummate professionals and be warriors. So it's I'm excited. It's close. It's really close. It's actually finally happening. This fight's been pushed back quite a few times, and I think that's actually helped in terms of the crossover appeal. Enough people understand the magnitude of this matchup that this is the best fight to be made in boxing today, and it's actually happening. Granted, you know, Beterbiev is 40 years old or close to it. Yeah. So, you know, you're thinking about, are they in their primes? But in terms of Beterbiev's performances lately, seems to be getting better. Even as he's approaching late age in the 30s, he's looked better and better. He's looked more skillful. The power's always been there. The destructive force that he delivers has not changed whatsoever. So I think in terms of this fight and in terms of who's going to be interested and is this fight really going to sell, I think it might. I think it might. It's not going to be like, you know, when huge names fight, it's not, you know, huge names like a Ryan Garcia or like a Jake Paul because they have so much crossover fan base. These guys, I think, they're definitely going to pull in the hardcores. But this is one of those fights where the hardcores are telling everyone around them, yo, this is the fight you need to watch. And with both these guys, you saw the press conference, you saw the face-off, they're all business. And it just makes me that much more excited for this fight to actually happen. I've been crossing my fingers to make sure it actually does happen because I wasn't sure for a very long time. But we're pretty close now. Seems like we're full steam ahead, and I can't wait.
Yeah, I think this is a fight fans fight. You know, this is a fight fans fight in terms of a true fight fan understands the magnitude of this fight, the skill set of this fight, the ferocity of both of these fighters, and the fact that when you put them together, you're most likely going to get an excellent fight because both of these guys have been so unbeatable going into this fight again, head-to-head against one another. Unification on the line as well, so that also creates some more of a dynamic. You know, Champ, you made a good point about, you know, it's not they're not the biggest talkers, so it doesn't sell well. The problem with the West is the Western culture sort of likes train wrecks, you know, and you're not going to get that train wreck messy press conference. You're not going to get that train wreck messy culture that these guys bring. These guys are consummate professionals in every way. But you know what? You are going to get the train wreck in the ring. These guys are going to put on a violent fight because it's the only way it can happen based on when you match these two styles together. So that's kind of the shame because a lot of times the West is so idiotic that unless you actually dog walk them to the fight in a train wreck kind of fashion, they don't kind of get it. They won't get it like, oh, this is the fight to watch. They'd rather watch Ryan Garcia mess up hotel rooms for 6 weeks going into the fight, and then that'll sell, you know. But this fight is an amazing fight. And like I said, it's a fight fans fight, and I think fight fans all over the world will really be looking forward to it. And I think also Turkey Al-Ashik making it more affordable also helps as well. So that is the way where you can sort of try to reel in more casual fight fans. You know, they may hear something. You know, the casual fight fans, they may hear through the grapevine, oh, this is really going to be a really good fight. You should watch it. And then you see $100 price tag, and you're like, all right, it's a good fight, but I don't watch boxing. I'm not going to put up $100. But $15 or whatever the price is, in some places free. You know what? Even if you're just a casual fight fan, you know, you'd be like, you know what? Saturday afternoon. Let me check it out, man. You know, and you'll be getting more bang for your buck, man. Because and when you talk about bang for your buck, these two guys are going to collide head to head. I can't wait for this fight. I think any true fight fan can't wait for this fight. And of course, you keep the wheel turning. Unlike at 168, at 175, the wheel keeps turning.
Paulie, let me ask you about the styles. I'm not going to ask you guys to predict anything yet because we still have just over 2 weeks away before that fight takes place. But Beterbiev, 39 years of old, 20-0, 20 wins by knockout. Bivol, undefeated as well, 23-0, but 12 wins by knockout. This seems to be the classic boxer versus knockout artist type of fight. Do you see it that way?
In some ways, yeah, but just because one is a boxer, one is a puncher, doesn't mean Beterbiev doesn't know how to box in his own fashion, and doesn't mean Bivol doesn't know how to punch in his own fashion. Listen, Beterbiev is the harder puncher. Bivol seems to be the better boxer because he's more versatile with his legs. But Beterbiev knows how to box, and Bivol can punch a little bit. We've seen, you know, some strong knockdowns scored with his right hand as well. So I think there's going to have to be the even though both guys know what the other guy's main strength is, they're going to have to respect the other guy's gangster, so to speak, if I may speak clearly, in terms of the opposite thing as well. Like Bivol knows Beterbiev is the puncher, but he's going to have to respect Beterbiev's gangster when it comes to Beterbiev's boxing ability. And of course, Beterbiev knows Bivol is going to be the boxer in and out, is what he's known for. But you're going to have to respect Bivol's gangster as well, with that sharp right hand that could get your attention and stun you and possibly hurt you. You know, so I think you're going in both directions as far as the versatility of these fighters. When I talk about Beterbiev knows not only how to box, he knows how to cut off the ring very well. His balance is very good. He knows how to be deceptive with his shots. So he's not the in and out kind of boxer, but he still knows how to box very technically. And when I talk about Bivol's punching power, he surprises you with that right hand out of nowhere, man. We've seen some sharp right hands. They surprise you. The speed, he's deceptive, and all of a sudden you see that right hand landing, guys get hurt. So I think there's again the dynamic of what you may be underestimating about these two guys could be the difference in the fight.
Yeah, Chris, what do you make of the comparison I made? Beterbiev maybe more of the puncher and then Bivol more of the boxer.
Based on the eye test, you look at it and you say, yes, this is a classic boxer versus puncher style matchup. But it's really not. Right. Both guys have a lot more similarities than you would actually think if you really look at them. Beterbiev is a fantastic boxer. They're both positioning fighters. Beterbiev positions himself to close the distance and be deceptive to deliver his power. Bivol is a master of distance. He positions himself so he's in and out, in and out. He's more dynamic in terms of his motion. He's got that pendulum motion back and forth, so he makes you miss, he makes you overreach, and then he counters. Champ, you mentioned that sharp right hand by Bivol. Don't be surprised if he catches Beterbiev square and puts him on his butt at some point during this fight, which would blow everyone's mind because you're looking at the boxer who now puts the puncher on the mat. We've seen Beterbiev down before. We've seen Bivol score some really good knockdowns and knockouts. So it wouldn't be that far to see that fight happen, see that situation happen. But in terms of these guys, boxers, they're both boxers. Beterbiev is a very good puncher with a very deep amateur, very good boxer with a very deep amateur background. And we've been seeing the skill set show up more and more recently as he's gotten older. I'm not sure if that's because he's just not as ferocious as he used to be. He has to be smarter and more deceptive on his way in. But we're seeing him utilize his jab, close his distance, position himself much better. You know, great offense while maintaining fantastic balance to deliver that power. So in terms of boxer versus puncher, I think you could swap both of those terms for these guys at certain points. Bivol is certainly not a puncher, but he can punch enough to get respect, and we saw that even in the Canelo fight, that he was able to really disarm an offensive machine in Canelo with his power, with his ability to punch, with his combination punching, with the stiffness on his shots. So yeah, this is a great matchup, and I think it's really easy to boil it down to boxer, puncher, but it's more than that. This is a really complicated and nuanced matchup.
Yeah, it should be a fascinating fight for the Undisputed Light Heavyweight Championship of the World. And Paulie, you were mentioning about how much it costs. You can stream it on ESPN+. So I have the bundle of ESPN+, Disney+, and Hulu, and it cost me like $30 a month. So you basically could watch it essentially for like $30 if you have that bundle there. So very affordable for sure, the Bivol Beterbiev fight, and I'm looking forward to the big fight breakdown and, of course, covering all the aftermath of that fight here on Top Stories. And we'd like to remind you to scan the QR code. We ask you to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. And don't forget, the best live fight series in all of boxing continues October 9th, 3 days before the Beterbiev Bivol fight. with a great card on Wednesday Night Fights, the best live fight series in all of boxing. I'm George DiMattelis. This is Boxing Scene's Top Stories.
Wednesday Night Fights.
Dynamite action on Wednesday Night Fights every other Wednesday on your boxing channel.
Coming up on your next Wednesday Night Fights, October 9th. Chris, Primetime Colbert, and Omar Super Salcido step into the ring for what is sure to be a barn burner. Live from the ProBox Event Center in Plant City. Get your tickets at ProBoxTV.com or take your chances at the door. Wednesday Night Fights.
For more ProBox TV, scan the QR code on the screen or go to the App Store and Google Play. ProBox TV, your boxing channel.